Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mumkey and Cobb's movie reviews. I am Mumkey Jones.
I am Cobb. Oh, wait. That's wrong. I'm not.
Wait, now, who are you?
Erish.
E-Rich.
E-Rich. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
E-Rich.
Yeah. E-Rich.
E-Rich, what movie are we reviewing today?
We are reviewing Manchester by the Sea.
Manchester by the Sea. Do you want me to give a quick spoiler just for my review?
Yeah.
A spoiler of my
sure.
review. My favorite movie of the year.
I tend
Or
to
should
agree
I
with
say,
that.
should I say my favorite film of the year and get all pretentious on it and
It's
and
Kino.
give the distinction between Kino, give the distinction between film and a movie. No, this isn't a film. This is Kino.
This is cinema.
This is what kind of Kino is this? There's like Cape Kino. There's like Squirrel
Sad
Kino.
Kino.
Sad
or
Kino. Sad Kino.
Boston Kino.
Comfy Kino.
Bean Kino.
Now, it doesn't really mean much that two schmucks like us are saying that this is the best film of the year, because it just won the Golden Globe for Best Casey Affleck in a movie.
Yes.
They had the best Casey Affleck of the year. So
It's hard to pull off. They don't get it every year, but
Yeah.
this year they got picked by Casey Affleck.
Yep. So who are we to judge?
Yeah.
But God, I don't even know where to begin. I think you have some things to say,
let's
so you
talk
go
about
ahead.
Casey Affleck. So, have you ever seen Casey Affleck in anything before now?
Only in Interstellar, and anything else, I just don't remember him being in it.
Okay, I saw him in Interstellar, and I also, I think about a year ago at this point, maybe less, I saw him in a movie called I'm Not Here, or I'm Not There, or something. It's the movie where it's him and Joaquin Phoenix, and they're trying to be meta by saying that Joaquin Phoenix is going to start a rap career, and it's basically just the two of them trying to trick everyone into thinking that Joaquin Phoenix has given up his career as an actor and is going to be a rapper. And he's awful, and I think that's the point, but it's really hard to describe because it's basically just them walking around trying to convince people. It's just generally horrible. I watched it 3 a.m. a couple of months ago, and I would not recommend that. It's crazy. I like it on a conceptual level, but just generally speaking, that was the only real impression I had of Casey Affleck, is that he was kind of an asshole who was trying to do more than
He's trying to cash in on his brother's fame and say,
Yeah,
"Oh, I can
yeah.
act too, everybody. I'll be the discount Ben Affleck." And
He's
then
a
he shows
lesser
up in
Affleck.
this.
Yeah, and
He
then I
shows up
watch
in
him
this,
in
and
this.
now I'm not sure if there is a lesser Affleck. I
Yeah.
think they're both pretty strong contenders for best Affleck.
I mean, I hadn't seen Ben Affleck in a lot of movies either until recently, and I had a fairly low
only good
impression of
things-
him. So
I think the only good things I've seen him involved in are Argo and Gone Girl,
okay,
and then I think he was good as Batman. But otherwise,
yeah.
I haven't seen too many Ben Affleck movies. I mean, was he was in that Robin Williams one that he wrote with Matt Damon, wasn't he?
Good Will Hunting, probably.
I know he wrote it. I don't know if he was in it. 'Cause I haven't seen it in a long time. He
I
might
have
be the
never
main
seen
star.
it.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really had no impression of who Ben Affleck was. I always just thought of him as some asshole who was dating Jennifer Lopez or whatever. But, just between me finding out that he's a really good actor and an actually skilled director, and with this movie, Manchester by the Sea, now gaining a lot of appreciation for Casey Affleck. Because, like you, I'd only seen him in, Interstellar, and then that horrible documentary. But, yeah, this is a groundbreaking performance.
Oh my God!
It's incredible to me.
It broke more than the ground. It broke my eyes. You guys
Eyes,
thought I
heart,
cried.
yeah.
You guys thought I cried after La La Land, man. I have to
Yeah.
take back my I only cry once a year rule, because I got 2 cries out of 2016.
Yeah, in 2 weeks from each other or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, no
So-
shit. What an emotional end of the year.
I think the thing about his performance is that he doesn't do a whole lot with it, but you can see when he does do something, how dreadful and how weighty it actually is. Both him and everyone in this movie kind of feel real. They feel like actual people. even though not many characters other than him get a lot of screen time, they all feel like characters this world feels lived in, and they all just kind of feel like they're people who are coexisting and living in this world. And Casey Affleck just does a great job of seeming like an actual guy who sometimes you don't really understand what he's doing, but then when you kind of fully grasp what happened to him and or what he did in a really twisted way, you kind of understand like how he's punishing himself, which is really, really awful.
Yeah, that's one of the things about like these types of movies where so often you feel like you're watching an actor act.
Mm-hmm.
But I was about to make the same exact point that you did, that if it felt like these were real people and that there wasn't an actor giving a performance. It was just, this is how this guy's life is and this is how he reacts to things.
Mm-hmm. And I think it tends to work better when I don't really know the actor that well, or I haven't really seen him in much. What's his face? Aaron Taylor Johnson just won a Golden Globe for his role in Nocturnal Animals, and I had no idea it was Aaron Johnson until I saw his name in the credits. I think that really tends
that's
to
the
add
guy.
a lot.
He was in Avengers 2, wasn't he? He was the clip guy?
He was Slovakian fast guy.
Oh, I didn't know he was the redneck in Nocturnal Animals. We actually reviewed that on this show.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great movie. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I did.
We'll talk about that later. We got to talk about this one.
yeah. Well, let's keep on topic. But yeah, when I don't know an actor or I don't know much about the actor, I haven't seen them in much, I tend to really attach myself to the character they're playing, and it worked really well here with Casey Affleck.
Yeah, I think that's a problem I have, is that I really like Leonardo DiCaprio, but then when I'm watching his movies, I'm watching Leonardo DiCaprio.
It's Leo. Yeah, you're watching Leo.
It's just Leo having fun, and he's screaming and fucking hookers and all this crazy shit.
Yeah, or dragging himself across fucking whatever Antarctic.
This was the perfect storm for Casey Affleck to give the performance of a lifetime, because he's not really that well known or recognizable, as opposed to other A-list actors, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. And no, he does a really good job as a kind of everyday Bostoner going through his life, and you really tend to sympathize with him. So in the beginning of the movie, you get kind of quick snapshots of him going around. He's like a day laborer.
Man.
What's that?
He's like a maintenance man. He takes care of an apartment complex.
He's like a maintenance guy, and like you just automatically kind of go along with him because he's the guy who's fixing everything. He kind of gets no respect. Everybody kind of wants to blame the problems of the building on him because he's the guy who's supposed to fix everything, and you just kind of instantly go along with him and kind of see what his life is like. But then it kind of gets revealed to you why he's living like this, why he basically has no life, and why it's so painful for him to be living back in this town that he grew up in.
And that's one of the most important things that I think the film does, is the important storytelling element of showing and not telling.
Mm-hmm.
There's
absolutely.
Almost no exposition in this film. Sorry, I've been drinking. There's almost no exposition in this film. Like for the first 10 minutes, you might not know what his job is. We're just following him at his job. And then when the second time we see him throwing stuff into the dumpster, there's this old lady behind me, and I could hear her whispering to her husband this revelation, "Oh, he's the maintenance man." Like,
no duh.
Another movie would have had a line of dialogue. "Hey, you've been the maintenance man here for 8 years and blah, 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 blah."
Yeah.
But this movie, it shows you him doing his job day to day and all the people he interacts with and how he's treated at his job. And you start to wonder, wait, why is he acting this way back to the people? So just even something small like his career, they show rather than just straight up tell you an exposition. And I think that's it's like one of the most basic, important storytelling techniques, and it just gets ignored. These days, I feel like.
In most movies, yeah. And so, are we safe to really talk about spoilers at this point, or what do you think?
Well, so far we've just talked about Casey Affleck, but I guess the whole movie does revolve around him.
Maybe we want to do some general stuff before we really dive into spoilers.
Yeah, let's do general stuff.
Okay.
I don't want to ruin the movie for anybody. Okay, but I guess hopefully people have already seen it if they're watching it. Review.
I'd say it's a very well-made, well-crafted, like, it's a long movie. Like, it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that, but, like, it doesn't feel it. You kind of get absorbed in the world. You kind of see it gets revealed to you what exactly is happening very slowly, very partially. We haven't even mentioned the kid, but basically the whole movie is about his relationship with this kid who's his nephew. And so there's a lot in this movie dealing with grief, so I wouldn't really recommend somebody see this if they are prone to easily get sad, but it is a very good exploration of sadness and how you deal with grief and just how you kind of live your life regardless of who you are or what like socioeconomic situation you're in. It's just kind of an exploration of that, and it's just beautifully done. I was moved by this movie. I've got some kind of personal baggage that really lends itself to me sympathizing with this character and really going along with it. But yeah, I really loved it. It's probably the best movie of the year to me. It's very understated, very well acted, directed, written, everything. So Manchester by the Sea, best movie of the year, probably. We'll see about Silence, but yeah, for me, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. For me as well, it was my favorite film
Yes.
of the year. Now,
Not
I mean,
flick.
in terms of what would I rather watch again, I would probably go watch Deadpool or Civil
Yeah.
War again before I'd watch this again. But this
Those
was
are easier
still,
to swallow.
yeah, like those are just fun to digest and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But this is it's more complex. The characters are three-dimensional. They feel real.
Yep.
And I'm gonna make a really bizarre comparison that probably won't make any sense, but
Okay.
I'm drunk, so just hear me out. So this movie kind of, the reason why I think the Let's Play genre is so popular, or like things like Red Letter Media when they do stuff like Best of the Worst,
Yeah.
is that it's a really good friend simulator.
Okay,
So it's like
yeah.
you're sitting there and it's like you're there with a group of friends and
Yeah,
you're
you're hanging out with
experiencing this
buds.
with them, even though you're just watching it on a screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that's what this movie was. It was just a really sad friend simulator, and I
Yeah.
became friends with Casey Affleck, and I learned all about his life, and I felt for him. And when he got torn up, I got torn up, and I felt like I was along on the ride with him.
Nice. That,
So
that
I
was
made-
a very specious comparison at first, but you really brought it around, and I fully understand what you're talking about.
I tried. It was a bit of a stretch, but I felt like I was just going on this journey
Mm-hmm.
very intimately with this character in a way that other movies, like, you're not... Other movies, you're watching characters. In this movie, I felt like I was watching a person's life.
People, yeah. It should be noted that it is a very funny movie at times. Like, just the subtle interactions between the characters sometimes are hilarious. Even during, like, super dreadfully sad scenes, there's some humor injected. But yeah, it's very sad overall.
All right, so to wrap up the non-spoiler review, I guess we're both giving the biggest recommendations possible and
Yeah,
saying it's the best
absolutely.
film of the year and the best performance of the year. Do you think it has a chance to beat La La Land for the Oscar? Because La La Land won a lot of Golden Globes last night.
It's hard to say. I think it really depends on how typical the Oscars want to get this year. They tend to really fall in line with what is the most glamorizing of the things that are about Hollywood or the things that are about the movies. So something like La La Land just technically and like story-wise tends to fall in the line of what they want, but they're also very they like to go towards nuanced character pieces at times. So I'm hoping that Manchester by the Sea at least wins actor for Casey Affleck. I'd
Oh, I
really
think
like
that's
it to win
guaranteed.
screenplay. I'd really like to win screenplay and director, but who knows? I really fought for Spotlight last year or whatever, and that actually did win. So
Yeah, that won Best
who knows?
Picture, but nothing
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing else, but it did win the Best Picture of the year. So
What I think is good about the Golden Globes is that they have a separate category for comedies and
Comedies.
musicals. Because La La Land and Manchester by the Sea are almost polar opposite movies.
yeah.
One, you've got, just sort of two-dimensional characters singing songs and following their dreams, and then this one is like a deep character study, 3D character, very sad, where the other one, La La Land's all, fun, singing, blah, da, da,
Yeah.
da, da. And
It's
even
hard
like
when you
the
ask
sad
the
ending of La
layman-
La Land isn't that sad if you really think about it.
No, it isn't. Yeah, they do kind of find their own happiness fairly easily. But yeah, you kind of ask the layman which is the better movie here. They're probably going to tell you the one that made me happy, the one that I want to see again, the
Oh,
one that
fuck
made me
that.
dance and sing. No, it's the fucking movies that make you sad and make you
Oh, the
really
movie
dread
that-
life.
Yeah, the movie that makes me feel a pit of fucking sorrow.
Yeah.
If I feel like I'm one of the monkeys in the pit of despair from watching a film, then that's the better film. The one that gives me the bigger emotional impact. And
Yeah.
I don't care if that's an unintellectual point of view, but this is art that we're digesting. So the one
Yeah.
that gives you the bigger emotional impact, I think, is more significant.
I think it's really easy to make you happy or to make you kind of delighted. I think it's less easy to kind of make you feel something deeply sad, because if you try to make somebody just feel plain old sad, it can oftentimes come across as like they're trying too hard to do this, or it's overwrought, or you can blindly see what they're trying to do to you and it doesn't work. But with this movie, it builds it up in such a way, and the performances are so well developed that you really believe it and you feel it like in your heart. So like, yeah, this movie does that.
All right, I know you have things you want to say in the spoiler territory, sir. If you haven't seen this movie yet, and you want to, stop listening now.
Fuck
And,
off.
You got some people going on in the background?
Yeah, they're my parties. That my house is basically a frat party at all times.
The perfect time to film a serious movie review.
Absolutely.
So we're in spoiler territory now. So E-Rich, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so you talked about kind of the showing, not telling type thing. And what I loved about this movie is there are two scenes, basically one where Casey Affleck is putting up and taking down or whatever the three pictures of his kids. We never see that they're his kids, but we as an audience should be able to put together the information that he had three kids. His three kids died in that fire that he accidentally set in his house, and that he would probably have photos of them.
I
as
mean,
his
you're
one
saying
kind
it
of
matter of
remembrance.
factly, but like for all we know, they weren't pictures of his kids. But you're
There are
right.
three
like
of them, yeah.
yeah, like the clues are pretty obvious, but the fact that they don't actually tell you that is pretty
And
good.
Then there's the scene where I don't remember what his name is anymore. The ginger nephew kid.
Oh, the fucking nephew, man! I could go
Yeah.
on all day with how much I hate this character. And the fact that I hate this character so much is good for the movie because they made a character that got an emotional response out of me, and
Yeah.
that was the response of hatred.
Okay, so the other thing with the picture frames is that kid runs upstairs into his room, sees those three pictures, basically just stands there for 30 seconds looking at the pictures. And so, like, the movie never shows you what the pictures are. It expects you to kind of do the footwork and see what they are for yourself. And just that scene, and then him going back down and kind of reacting to that, but not telling Casey Affleck that he saw that, or he kind of knows, is, I think, brilliant. But the one scene with the kid that I think really got to me was when he is at the freezer and he hits his head and he's looking for food, and it kind of is tied back to his father's corpse, and he doesn't want to be frozen. He kind of has a mini panic attack there. I can really relate to that. My dad died a year and a half ago, and I kind of had a mini panic attack when I couldn't find my car. And it was just kind of this confluence of events of I got hurt like him, like I stubbed my toe or something, and then I realized I couldn't find my car. So it was kind of a short confluence of quick emotion that I just had this mini panic attack. I've never had a panic attack in my life, but just 30 seconds of like absolute fear and dread and not being able to like process all this stuff, just brilliantly done in this movie. And it really just showed you. And then also just real quick mentioning it, all of the bullshit about funerals and just all the shit that you have to go through as soon as somebody close to you dies. This movie depicts that basically perfectly. I loved it.
Back to the scene when he's having the panic attack at the
Yeah.
freezer. I kind of felt like an asshole because this kid has a lot of stuff going on in his life, both good and bad. And I in my hatred of him, I wrote him off as I thought immediately before the panic attack, he asked Casey Affleck if he can have his girlfriend come over, and Casey Affleck says, "No, I don't like her."
Yeah.
So my first assumption during the panic attack was, oh, he's manipulating Casey Affleck so that he can have his girlfriend come over. Like I thought the kid was taking advantage of the situation to do that. And I think what's important here is that we don't actually know.
Yeah,
Maybe sometimes he is being manipulative to get what he wants, and maybe sometimes he actually is genuinely fucked up about his situation.
Yeah, I think it's
it's a complex character.
Yeah.
It's a complex character, and it adds to my hatred of him. It's a fucking kid whose dad just died, and I'm so fucking jealous of him. This little asshole. I don't think he's very attractive. I think he's kind of ugly.
But he's
personally,
got two girlfriends.
I think I'm more attractive than this little ginger fuck.
Yeah.
And he has two hot girlfriends, one of which has the hugest tits ever, and she's like 16. And
Yeah.
it pissed me the fuck off.
Man, that breakfast scene was a good scene, as far as I can. No, I agree with you.
Oh man, the bitchiness of that girlfriend in that scene when she tells Casey Affleck to leave the room.
Fucking
Oh
bitch.
my god.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I think you're right. He is quite a lot kind of using the guilt that people would feel for him to manipulate Casey Affleck or people around him to kind of give him a pity way out. And most of the time, I think it's legitimate. But I think like the scene where he's worried that his dad's corpse is being frozen, and there's like the entire thing of like they can't bury his body because the ground's too cold. It's too
Right.
hard. Like that's a really cool detail that like most movies wouldn't go through the kind of rigmarole of showing that to you, but that's like really one of the things that would happen. Like there are complications, there are things that just can't happen at certain times. You have to wait, and I think it does emotionally affect him in the movie. He freaks out then just because he doesn't want to not have his dad buried. He doesn't want him like freezing in a
Yeah, he doesn't want his dad
somewhere.
in a freezer for so long.
Yeah, and then his freak out of the freezer directly parallels that. He's handling whatever, the frozen chicken or whatever that falls out of the freezer, and it's just reminding him of his dad's corpse. So yeah,
And I think a funeral for a lot of people, like it's kind of a sense of closure on a tragedy. So for the funeral to be delayed for weeks, just delayed the closure that all these characters feel in relation to the dad's death. So that it's an elongated period of grief that. And they don't even get the sense of closure that, okay, it's done, the funeral's over, now we can grieve without having to worry about that part. Anyway, I think we're going a little long, so if there's anything else you wanted to say about this movie.
real quick, Matthew Broderick is in this movie for about like 2 minutes.
That was bizarre.
It was bizarre and hilarious, and that entire subplot is just so crazy. And yet really
My
real.
theater broke into laughter when he appeared on screen, and he was in it for like a scene.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
It reminded me of,
Go ahead.
again, Room. I don't want to bring up Room in every of these fucking reviews, but the guy from Shameless, I don't remember his name. The main actor in that, he's in Room also for like 2 scenes. He
I know you're
plays
talking about William H. Macy.
he plays Brie Larson's. Yeah, William H. Macy. Like he's billed like one of the top billings, and then he's in the movie for like 2 scenes.
30 seconds, yeah.
So it's
yeah.
just like, it's another bizarre thing of like this famous actor of another era just shows up in this movie for a scene and gets one of the top billings.
Kyle Chandler's in this movie too. He does a great job with very little. He's from Friday
Is he
Night
the
Lights,
friend?
which I've never seen. No, he's the father,
Oh shit! Yeah.
and he's in Bloodline as well, which is a very good Netflix show. But yeah.
and while we're in spoilers, I wanted to say that his wife in the movie.
Yeah, Michelle Williams.
Do you know the actress's name?
Yeah.
She was Leonardo DiCaprio's wife in Shutter Island.
Yeah.
I was gonna say she keeps getting typecast as the woman who has 3 kids who all die.
Yes. I can't imagine being that actress and reading scripts and being like, really, again? Well, at least I have a lock on how to play
At least
this.
this time she didn't kill her kids.
Oh, yeah, she didn't go crazy this time, so.
Yeah,
There you go.
spoilers for Shutter Island, I guess. Oh, one other thing that's off topic. I saw this movie in a theater full of old people. And I want to say, just teenagers always get shit on for being bad moviegoers. But every single time that a cell phone has gone off in the middle of a movie, it's because of an old person. It's always an old person's phone, and it takes them over a minute to take it out of their bag and to turn it off.
I had
These
a very
fucking
similar
old people.
experience where a woman's cell phone went off once, and it went on for like 30 to 45 seconds of just like it playing, and then it went off again, and I just wanted to like, I want to murder someone when that happens. It's just like, you should know better, especially when you're that old. And then the couple, I think a row away from me, had to have everything explained to them as was happening.
It's very difficult for me to not start screaming at people in the movie theater. And
Yep.
if your phone goes off for longer than 10 seconds, like, I have to almost physically hold my mouth shut.
Yeah.
But hey,
Normies.
we're going really long. Somebody complained that the last one was 20 minutes, and I think
Wow.
we're at like 25.
Yeah,
so,
we're at 25, so.
So
Sorry,
dude. Go watch Manchester by the Sea. Hopefully it gets some Oscar love, even though awards don't really matter, but
No.
I still like to pretend that they do when the things I like win.
No one remembers the artist, so I think Manchester by the Sea is safe.
So for Mumkey and Cobb's movie reviews, I've been Mumkey.
And I've been E-Rich.
See ya.